You know what's more fun than talking to the in-laws? Talking to an imaginary friend that you forced yourself into hallucinating. Hi there, welcome to What Even Is That? Where we talk about strange things that people are into. I'm your host, Lucasoar, and I'm pretty weird too, so this is gonna go swell. Today's topic, tulpas. A meditating practice that brings to life a character that you create through the power of your own mind. Let's go. Intro. So what even is a tulpa? A tulpa is a creation you make in your own mind, developed by your own imagination and through your pure will alone. They're able to think, have their own emotions, and free will, at least seem to. Essentially, it's having an entire sentient being living within inside your own head that only you can see. Imagine it, everywhere you go. Hugh Jackman, and only you can see him naked. The word for tulpa can be translated into magical creation. The suffix pa used in Tibetan to mean someone from someplace or somewhere that does something. That's what it says. Tul can be loosely translated into magic. So it's loosely translated into magical creation. Honestly, it could just mean there's something wrong with you and we would never know. If this all sounds like an imaginary friend, they're actually very similar. Have you guys seen the ads for Imagination Mary? That is literally what a tulpa is. Even though it frames itself as an imaginary friend, she is not in direct control of Mary, the thing that she imaginates. So it's a tulpa because it has its own free will, or at least seems to. Incidentally, you may have accidentally created a tulpa on accident while you were growing up. Do you remember being scared of the dark? Do you remember seeing things in the corner of the room? Did you ever interact with that? Did it ever say anything? Did you ever think it said anything? Or maybe you heard a noise that sounded like a monster coming in on you? Well, that could have been a tulpa. You may have created that through your own willpower, and if you had focused hard enough, it might have been able to harm you. Nah, just kidding, it can't do that. Though there's a lot of people that write creepypastas saying that they can, there is no substantial proof showing that a tulpa can actually hurt you. Interestingly enough, the modern word for tulpa isn't even what a tulpa used to be. You see, a tulpa used to be a creation that other peoples could see. When you created something and only you could see it, it was called a yidam. Girl, is that the best butt I could possibly imagine? 'Cause yeah, damn! That is Y-I-D-A-M. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, because I'm probably not. Yidam is a tulpa that only the creator can see, while a true tulpa is a creation that multiple people can see. I can only imagine if the streets start flooding with gay renditions of people's favorite characters from TV shows. See, the fascinating part of all of this is the history with it. This method of practice originated from Tibet. Tibetan Buddhism to be specific, where monks would create tulpas with a very specific purpose. More on that in a moment. Meet Alexander David Neal, a Belgian-French explorer who encountered tulpacy in Tibet, which was only one of the many mystical techniques she studied among these monks. She's most known for her trip to South Tibet in 1924, during a time when foreigners were not allowed. She even went on to write a book about the expedition called Magic and Mystery in Tibet, which was published in 1929. Through intense concentration and visualization, she was able to create a Through intense concentration and visualization, fucking bitch. Through intense concentration and visualization, she was able to create a tulpa of her own, first originating as a small little plump mass thing, and then eventually it became to look like a monk itself. Over time, her creation started to slip from her conscious control. She realized that at certain moments that the monk was showing up at times when she didn't will it to. Eventually, her companions, who had no idea she was doing this, started asking about a stranger that showed up in their camp one day. It was at this moment that she realized that her manifestation had become real. It had definite, objective reality. Write that down, kids. That's totally not important. She then began to focus on reabsorbing it into her own brain, and the creature that she created was very unwilling. I mean, honestly, I would too. Like, bitch, you created me! Let me live! This evidently left her exhausted. Could you imagine focusing on something so hard that it left you exhausted? Something that technically didn't even exist? I mean, I do it all the time when I think about people that I could have potentially had a relationship with. Oh, girl in the frozen entree aisle. Though we never talked, we could have danced. Of course, all of this is fascinating, right? But to what end? I mean, people aren't creating these tulpas just to talk to something, right? Right? Well, there is a benefit to having a tulpa, and the monks had realized this. Let's say someone is afraid of spiders. They could create a tulpa of a spider and make it cartoon-like. This would actually help them in ridding their fear of spiders. Creating something out of something else that you're afraid of and making it less scary can help you in ridding the fear of the original item. If this sounds like a convoluted way of explaining this, consider this example. In The Prince of Egypt, when Moses made the Nile run red with blood, his brother's assistants essentially made Kool-Aid to mimic it, which made his brother significantly less afraid. This dethrones the previous fear and allows a sense of comfort, which is something a tulpa can do. It's like it just transition. What's my line? People with severe anxiety could theoretically make a tulpa a companion to assist them when they start having meltdowns or a panic attack. The key word here being companion, which segues into the current reason why tulpas are made. On April 16, 2012, Tulpa.Info was created, with a subreddit for tulpamacy created on May 27th of the same year. This sparked up because it emerged as a subject on 4chan under /MLP. That's /MyLittlePony. That's right, bronies brought this upon us. It is all their fault. Bronies are interested in making tulpas of their favorite characters from the TV show, or perhaps their OCs, seeking companionship. I mean, seriously, the show is all about the magic of friendship. I imagine it's rough to be lonely when you're super into a show that's literally all about having friends. Bruh. That being said, this could be super beneficial to those lonely people as a form of therapy. This is the founding principle behind a tulpa. A tulpa is meant to be created to assist you in healing. However, it doesn't quite work that way. Remember how I said that they're independent? Well, that's the thing, is that they have their own free will. Even though you created them, and even though you are its master, and it works out of your brain, it has your knowledge, it has your experience, it has your eyes, I guess, whatever, it knows what you see. It's still just, it's still something else. It's still that other thing. That other thing is able to do what it wants. I fucked this up. That's the thing, they have their own free will. Though they have your knowledge and your experience, they have a completely different personality and may not be willing to help. So toss out those ideas of creating a tulpa of your waifu, because believe it or not, she may not like you. That's right, your waifu may not like you. There are several techniques that you could do with tulpas that makes this entire experience exciting. For example, imposition. Imposition is what that finally crosses that gap in between make-believe and confusing with reality. It is a final step towards actually hallucinating them into the reality itself, where you actually start to see them with your physical eye, walk around and do stuff. With this comes the ability to make yourself hallucinate the sensory of touch. Just think about it. You could create a tulpa Pokemon and pet a fuzzy, cute, adorable Sylveon on a regular basis. Or Eevee, I'm not gonna judge. Or perhaps you could make another Human who will run their hands through your hair whenever you're feeling, I don't know, the hands through Harry. I'm keeping that. Possession. Possession is a process where you give your tulpa control of your body. You having trouble asking that person out? Just create a tulpa and let them do it. No worries, what could go wrong? Or Wonderland. Do you think the story of Alice going to Wonderland is a trip? Imagine going to a Wonderland where everything that you create comes to life. That includes characters. That's essentially what this is. Though sometimes called Headspace or Inner World, it is a place as big as you like just for you and your tulpas. All of your creations in a single place. Honestly, that actually has a really interesting idea for it. What if you create a tulpa of your Patronus and your headspace is literally just Hogwarts? I'd be down for that. In conclusion, tulpas are pretty weird indeed, but there's so much good that they can do. Companionship, healing, and above all, making talking to yourself not weird or extra weird. In the end, tulpas require a lot of patience and a lot of focus, and also a lot of time. Creating one will soak up so much time, and there's a multitude of different guides. There's this guy and there's this guy. I don't remember this guy's name, but this one is Fat Guy. Fat as in FAQ? Don't think dirty now. These people have created a guide into creating tulpas, so if you want to create one for yourself, the links in the description below. Though I will tell you that you should be cautious in creating one. Creating something just for shits and gigs may not be that good of an idea. Imagine living your life without actual real fulfillment, just being an empty space doing nothing. Some of you already live that life, and it's not fun. There has to be a hole to be filled before you put the dirt there, or otherwise you're just building a mound of crap. It's a very interesting way to put it, but you know what, I might actually stick with that one. Making someone who doesn't have a purpose to fill could potentially make them depressed, even if they're fictional. And one of the big things about tulpas is you can feel their emotions, and they can feel yours. So keep that in mind before you start making one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have yourself an absolutely wonderful day. I love every single one of you, and I hope to see you again soon. Laters! Holy crap, did I mess this up a lot. Anyways, thank you so much for showing up and listening to me fucking fuck it up. I fuck it up. I fuck it up. Though they have your knowledge and your experience, they have a completely different personality and may not be willing to hell. Perhaps they're OCs and to attempt to